So we're speaking about wisdom and the wisdom of God and the judgment of God and the mercy of God. And as I speak, people give me counsel and advice. What does wisdom look like? What does mercy look like? Maybe, Paul, you give people too much mercy or too much grace. What's the difference between mercy and grace? People still don't understand that. But I know people can't earn mercy. They can't earn grace. Everything is given to us by God freely. So, in the situations of my life and the situations that you might encounter, when people try to do you wicked and do you wrong and do you harm, and you constantly walk in forgiveness, just the way your Father would, constantly forgiving, constantly loving, and someone might say, you're loving too much, you should leave, you should do your own thing, you should quit, you should start, you should this and that, and I understand, and you're justified for every decision, but when would you want the Father to quit on you? When would you want Him to give up and say, you know what, I'm done with you? So many people are like, I knew this was going to happen, and I knew that. Great. I'm glad you know. And I get a prophetic word from somebody, someone's going to be a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they're going to rob and hurt you, and they're going to be made evident, and you're going to see all of this. And I laugh, and I say, everyone I meet is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Everyone tries to stick a knife in my back, but there's so many knives there, I can't even find a spot. Guess what? I know who's my healer. I know who my provider is. And I walk like a son of God, not like an illegitimate son. When you know who your Father is, man, there's such freedom, there's such joy, there's such peace, there's such fulfillment. And this is what's happening in my life, so I thought I'd share it. My wife would want me to record. And, man, mercy rejoices over judgment. When you look at Peter doling out mercy to Ananias and Sapphira, that's mercy. Some people call it the judgment gift. Some people call it the love or mercy gift. What kind of love is that when you're doing something so despicably wicked that you send someone home early, and I call it clocking them out early and sending them home, because if they continue on, they will end up destroying their life, the church, and everyone in it, and sending everyone off to hell and creating perversion. What kind of love does God walk in? But if you don't have enough mercy to keep doling that out and keep helping people and keep forgiving them, how much has your Father forgiven you lately? What kind of debts and suffering and struggles have you been through that He's loved you through it? And if He took you back and forgave you an insurmountable debt, couldn't measure it no matter how hard you tried, forgave you that sin question so to make you a son, and now you're going to hold unforgiveness towards somebody who took a couple bucks from you? Who cares? Give them everything. And if you have to separate for a season, and if you have to walk in love, and if you have to quit enabling, I understand. But follow the Spirit. Because sometimes He'll give you answers like, why don't you check out Luke 6:38? Well, given shall be given, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall God give unto your bosom. Well, give what? Why don't you go back a couple verses and you start reading? It's mercy. It's giving people mercy. And when they're taking everything and robbing you and suing you and stealing everything and running out the front door, I got a big old, all you hear is a beep, beep, beep. You hear a big old truck backing up and just unloading all the Father's wealth and all the Father's provisions. Because everything that He has for you is more than enough. And He so wants to keep giving you money so that you can keep canceling these questions of sin that people have towards the Father. This is mercy. You're showing them mercy, not by giving them stuff, not by trying to smile and be a nice guy, but by living in such a manner where you pray for those that despitefully use you, where you intercede, and they said, I'm going to take your stuff. No, you can't take anything from me because I'll give it to you so fast it'll make your head spin. I have no problem giving everything I have away. I will spend and be spent so that someone can have an opportunity to receive salvation and receive the love of God. Love of God isn't a fuzzy emotion that you feel or a tingly something. Love of God is a lifestyle. It's your promise and it's your commitment. It's a relationship that you build with the Father and you choose to walk out every day. Do you walk in love? What do you mean, do I walk in love? Do I live a lifestyle worthy of His name? Well, it's hard to love sometimes. Sure, you're right, according to your experiences. But it's not hard to love when love is what you are. God is love. God's in you. Galatians 5:22 and 23 and all them other fruits of the Spirit say, the fruit of your Spirit, the core of your Father's nature is in you. And who you are is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That is who you are at your core. But if you choose to keep your eyes on your sin and on your problems, that's where you'll always flounder. And that's where you'll always move to. You become what you give yourself to the most. So if you keep your eyes on the Father, you keep your eyes in fellowship with Him, that's where you move. That's who you become. And that's what God does in your life. You become everything you look at. So I try not to look at perversion, pornography, too many horror movies, or things that are just pervert the mind. But man, when you keep your eyes on Jesus, and you have friends who are like Jesus, and like my friend Ben, man, you've seen the Father. Why? Because he believes it. And man, I love having these kind of people in my life, but I always had a phrase on my wall, and God honored it. Mean and hateful people in your life is God favoring you. Oh man, I want the favor of God. Boy, you don't want the favor of God. Yeah, you do. Because when you fall in love with God, when you really get to know Him, when you walk in grace with Him, He sends you all the wolves, all the snakes, all these broken people who use the Word of God to get their will done in the earth, not the Father's. I believe John 5, or somewhere around there, Jesus says, or 16, 15, whatever John says, He says, I have no will apart from the will of Him who sent me. I don't do anything unless I hear the Father say it. I don't say or see anything unless I hear my Father say it or whatever I see from Him. Jesus walked in an emptied surrender lifestyle. And we can do the same if we choose to. And it's very simple. It's as easy as lifting your hands every day and just saying, hey, thanks for loving me. And being consciously aware of Him throughout your day, doing all things for Him and with Him. A lot of people want to work for God, serve God, and do great works for God. But that's a trap. You don't want to do works for God. You want to do it with Him. Whether it's a menial task of janitorial, cleaning toilets, and running around, sweeping, mopping, washing walls, whatever it might be, do it as unto the Lord and do it with Him. And man, you'll have such sweet and rich fellowship. Because when you make yourself last here and you serve, you become the first in His eyes. So keep loving God, keep serving, keep doling out mercy to those who don't deserve it. And eventually, I like to say, I don't think the Father says it like this, but sometimes the grace expires. Where you keep giving someone mercy and grace, you keep doling it out and keep giving and giving and giving, and they just keep self-destructing, burning themselves up. You keep praying for them. And at some point, people end up just not wanting to learn the lessons. And eventually the Father's like, thank you for loving them when no one else would. Thank you for helping them when no one else could. They were hurting everybody. They runned everybody out of their life. But in my life, I found out when I love somebody and love somebody and love somebody, boy, it's worth it. I will love the devil out of you. I will love all that pain out of you. I will love all that hurt out of you. And I won't run from you when you're hurting. I won't run from you when you hurt me. But it doesn't mean I'll give you my money. Doesn't mean I'll do business with you. Doesn't mean I'll trust you with my children. But boy, I'll be every day there for you. I'll buy you food. I'll help you. I'll pray for you. I'll intercede for you. I'll put a coat around you. I'll love you. But you have to find out that everything that you need is in the Father, not in me. I can't solve your problems and I can't help you fix all your solutions. I'm not your solution. And the sin and the problem I got into was I put all my dependency or a lot of my dependency on man instead of God. Well, it was hard in my life. I had to. I understand. Sometimes we feel so pressured that we try to find our fulfillment and our dependency start switching to man. That's a trap because man starts becoming your God and your source and your answer. So in my life, I found out that obedience and walking with the Father is better than anything else because everything in this life, it's a counterfeit to the true. This life has nothing. This life is so empty and boring. I tell people without Jesus, I am the most depressed, hurting, angry, bitter, worst person you've ever met individual. But man, when I gave my life and I choose to live for Him and with Him and through Him, to Him, everything just becomes amazing, and I become the greatest individual that ever lived. When your wife can't stop speaking good things about you, you're doing pretty good because she sees you, she knows you. When your friends love you, when you make mistakes, how much more do you think the Father loves you when you mess up? Repent means change your mind, change your heart. Accept Him. Say, God, help me. God, show me who I am to you. Show me, open my eyes, help me see. And then invite Jesus into your heart. Invite Him into your life. Man, He just washes you so clean. You feel so brand new inside, squeaky clean. And then it's just a simple life of just talking to Him and enjoying Him every day. Life's supposed to be enjoyed. I always say, it doesn't mean you'll have everything or be rich or everything goes great in your life. Things fall apart in my life every day, and man, I have a party. I found out that He's worth it. And it doesn't mean you're going to have no waves and there won't be any storms in your life. It just means you're going to walk because everything He did for you is enough. The Bible tells us it is enough to be as your master and as your Lord. It is enough. But I need more. It is enough. But I need Jesus to come down and heal me. I need Jesus to come down and give me money. And Romans tells us sometimes that when we look at these situations in life, we feel like we need Jesus to come and rescue us. But it says, don't say in your heart, who's going to come up to heaven and get Jesus down, and He's going to die for my sins, poverty, shame, disease. He already did. This is the work of God, that you believe. When we believe and walk in victory and walk in truth, there's no better life. It's just so fun. This life is so boring. If you think you enjoy this life, you're deceived. I enjoy it because I love the Father. I enjoy the only things that are really worthwhile in this life is God, loving God with all your heart. Just Jesus comes in your life and changes everything. And then you get to just love people. Because when you develop a love for Him, a love for people just starts being birthed in your heart. And when that happens, no matter what I do, I enjoy it. Outside of that, I can do it. And then there's an ending. That's what my wife always said, that's the worst feeling ever, that everything in life has an end. Everything has an end. But guess what? Your life with God never has an end. It has a beginning when you choose to walk with Him, but it never has an end. So, thanks for being my friend. Thanks for wasting your time listening to me. Hope to see you again.